As we've talked about, I came to ESP. I took some. I wanted to know, do you remember how the Tourette study came about? Like you had heard that I had come in. You had heard that Nancy Salzman.
I'd met you with Tourette, so to speak, to some degree.
What was that like?
It was interesting. I look at it. At times, it was disarming because I wasn't sure how you were experiencing it, and I wasn't sure because there's so many communications that are done that are nonverbal, and in interacting with you with the Tourette's, I was wondering how I was coming across, and if because at times it was abrupt, some of the tics were very abrupt. I wasn't sure how you were concerned of my concern, along with what my concern was also. So it's, I don't know, in a way it's like dealing with, if you have some sort of I can't even think of the best metaphor. Don't mean to compare you to an animal, let's say. But if I'm dealing, but not you as an animal, but it just more as some sort of something you're interacting with. If I'm interacting with a dog, let's say, and that dog bites when it sees red because red scares the dog, and I see that dog does bite, and I don't quite know that red's the thing that stimulates it, I have a certain apprehension. And in the apprehension, I'm also wanting to make, especially if I want to communicate deeply with the dog, I see sometimes this dog's biting, sometimes not. What am I doing? And then being concerned with what's going on with the dog. So there's a lot of extra processing. Sometimes I like to, and most of the time, I like to just be with a person. And sometimes that's the very thing that people don't want. Sometimes people prefer a whole degree of protocol and mannerisms. So I'd never dealt with anyone that had that sort of communication interruption. So at some point, what I experienced with you is we'd have this really great connection, and then there would be a tick, and it would sort of be abrupt. And then I wouldn't know, did I do something? Did I offend you?
Oh, interesting.
And that sort of a thing. So, it was interesting for me to see my own processes with respect to that sort of communication, what I perceive as an interruption.
Yeah, that's. Thank you for sharing that, because when you're living with it and you're ticking all the time, I mean, it's a crazy internal war that's going on inside here of I'm thinking about my tics, I'm thinking about what are other people thinking about me, and so I haven't. You're one of the first people that have shared that sort of a similar thing was going on the other side, but in a different way.
What did you have apprehension of? What I would call first tic? In other words, you meet me, say you've come to meet me at volleyball.
I think that's where I first met you. Yes.
And all right, here is Keith Raniere. Do you worry about how your first tic will go?
Sure.
So that brings it on to some degree, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I've never thought about it that way, but yes, I mean, anytime I was meeting somebody for the first time, I mean, it's kind of hard to remember the exact breakdown of how it went, but yes, I was thinking about them seeing me. At some point, they were going to hear me tick.
Right.
There was this constant
after
thing
someone you've known for a while has been broken in with the tics, you can actually be much more comfortable.
Yes.
So that was, and probably, oh, that's interesting. I bet you the nature and frequency of the tics changed.
Yes, absolutely. Well, especially, I mean, the biggest thing happened was after I finished the 16-day over a whole summer, June to August, did the whole 16-day. From September to May, now I'm back on the road speaking, going around the country. I did no more ESP. I don't even think I did any of the one-on-one processes that I could have done outside of the classroom. By that May, I was showing up to my gigs, and my tics were so low that I had to start fake ticking because these schools were hiring me as a speaker with Tourette syndrome, and I'm showing up, and I'm thinking, it was because I didn't know exactly what was happening. I mean, it was the whole thing was new, and it was exciting. It was kind of scary. It was kind of everything in between. So the frequency did change once I even started going through ESP. But then even pre-ESP, when I was really stressed out, if I saw a hot girl, if I saw certain situations, I would want to start to tick more. It was definitely a roller coaster all the time.